Hey guys, this is Wids. You want to know the best strategy to beat the most annoying Nightfall in the game, the Exodus Crash GM Nightfall? Well, I got just the thing for you, so let's check it out. Alright guys, first thing first, let's talk about team composition, weapons, etc, etc. So the first thing you're gonna need, you need to make sure you have 2 Warlocks with Well of Radiance and possibly with Phoenix Protocol, but that's not necessary if you don't have it. But another thing you need to know, weapons wise, it's not really mandatory to use the same one that I'm gonna say that we need to use. So I was using the Witherhoard for add control and also for some tick damage on big enemies, and also I was using a bow for overload, and also using the linear fusion rifle. So if you don't have those weapons, that's okay. As long as you have weapons that deal with champions and stuff like that, you should be good to go. But those weapons that we use, they work really good. Now, if you're gonna use an auto rifle for the barrier champions, make sure you use one that can carry a lot of ammo and that has like very decent range, just like this one right here, like False Promises. So you're gonna need those to make this work. Now, as far as my teammates, one of them was using Divinity. So if you have Divinity, make sure that you use it, and because it's gonna help with killing the champions, also doing boss damage to make things go a lot faster. Now, another teammate was using a sword, so that's okay if you want to use a sword for the final phase of the boss, and also sometimes to kill some big enemy, but it's a little risky for GM Nightfall. So I would suggest you use something else like a linear fusion rifle. Do not use any weapon that can backfire, like a rocket launcher that can kill you, because the strategy that we're going to use is going to be in a confined place, and you're going to need to be free of being killed. In any case, as far as armor, now you have to make sure you have a GM build that can sustain you, make sure you stay alive. Now, we have 2 wells, and also we have another Warlock that was using Stasis Warlock, but you don't have to have a 3rd Warlock. You can use another class. As long as you are good to go with your team composition, you should be fine. Now, for the March that we're using, it makes sure you use March that's going to be advantageous to your loadout. So that's for me, I was using linear fusion rifle for ammo finder. You need some ammo finder if you don't have somebody with Eon Safe or Eon Swift or whatever. One important note, when you are using a Warlock with Well of Radiance, make sure your resilience is as high as possible, because your resilience is tied to your well. So make sure you do that. And also I'm using power preservation, but you know, it's whatever is necessary. Now, as far as the arms, I am using whatever is necessary for the champions, and I'm also using charge up and also put some intellect there. But you don't have to use those mods, but so use the ones that are important. The most important ones are going to be taking charge, and also you can use some protective mod like concussive dampener, and also anything that can help you with sniper. And then as far as since the Warlock, you need to use some recovery, trying to get it as high as possible. And then for the legs armor, I am using one of the best mods in the games for survivability, protective light. So make sure you have that in your loadout. And then the rest of them is dependent on what you need. Now for the class item, because of the season, we are using particle deconstruction. Now, since we have somebody with stasis, it's gonna be a good idea if you run focusing lens, because that gives you some advantage. But also use whatever mods is important for your loadout. Now right here, I'm using resilience mod because I want to make sure that my resilience is as high as possible. It's 54, but it's good enough, and we were able to do it with what I have right now. Now that we have team composition and loadout out of the way, this is time for me to show you the 2 most important rooms that you need to learn to make this a lot easier for you. All right, guys. We are going to go straight to the first room that you need to learn. It's the room where you have to have the ghost analyze the plates. Now, in this room, a lot of time people just go and stand on the plate. What you need to do, you need to not stand on the plate. So the way you do this, just pull out your well, and then send one person on the plate, and then that person will stay on the plate until it gets to like 10% or something, or until you see the enemies start spawning, and they start spawning from the left and the right. The person with the wither hordes now can throw a wither horde shot to the left and to the right, while the other person just move out of the plate and let the enemy comes. At that time, you need to do everything you can to get rid of the ads, kill the champions, and once you finish with all the ads, then you can go back on the plate. When you go back on the plate, another wave will come. Once that wave comes, you do the same thing, rinse and repeat until you kill everything. By the time you're done with this room, you should have a lot of revives, up to like 17 revives, and then you are on your way to the boss fight. And then the boss fight is where the magic will come. So let's go straight to the boss fight. Alright guys, once you get to the boss room, before you drop down, just make sure you kill all the enemies except for one. Just leave one and then you can go down. Once you go down, we're going to the left. Just follow where we're going to the left generator. Alright, once you get there, just make sure you get yourself situated. And then once you are situated, then you can now just kill the last enemy. Once you kill the last enemy, then the boss fight will start. And then once the boss fight start, you are behind there, start pulling out your rifts, start pulling out your well of radiance. Now, one thing you should notice that while you're up there trying to kill the last enemy on your left, don't leave one on the right where you cannot see it, because once you are behind there, your view is kind of limited based on where you are. Otherwise, you're gonna have to go out there or send somebody out there to kill the enemy. Then the boss will spawn and you have to hurry up and come back there. So that's one thing you need to keep in mind. But once you are back there, just make sure you keep pulling out your rifts or pulling out your wells, and then you fight from there. You will kill the boss. Now, the first damage phase, you're gonna have your guy with the divinity. Just put some divinity on the boss if you can, and then you can just do some damage there with your linear fusion rifle. Me with the wither horde, I'm throwing wither horde on the ground just to keep the enemies from overwhelming us. The other guy is throwing out his turret. We're doing everything we can to get the boss to go away. Now, once the boss go away then you have to deal with the enemies again. Just kill all the enemies, just leave one. That way you are able to go out there and then pick up ammo or whatnot, or whatever you need to do. And then once you get all the ammos that you need, then you can come back to your position again and kill the last enemy, and then rinse and repeat. Then you're gonna have the two barriers. Now, the barriers, sometimes you may not be able to see them, depends on where you're at, so you might have to send somebody out there, but it's not dangerous because there's not too many ads out there. There's just the barriers. But once they see you, they're gonna come aggro and they're gonna come at us. So when they come at us, we go back to our position, keep pulling out our rifts, and then putting our well, throwing our turrets and freezing stuff. We're doing everything we can, but back there, because generators are providing electricity, so you cannot die if you keep pulling out your rifts, if you keep putting out your well. So you'll be safe back there, and then you can finish the whole thing there, kill the boss. Now, the last part of the last phase where there's no more enemies left, you already killed the barrier champions. Now the only person that's going to be left is the boss. Now you can go out there and fight the boss. And when you fight the boss out there, just pull out your well. Now the guy with the sword can just sword the heck out of the boss, and then you just use everything you got and kill the boss, and then you get your loot, and then mission accomplished. You are good to go. Easy peasy. This is how you complete the boss fight, and then a win for the team. Anyway guys, that's all you gotta do to complete this Nightfall. It's a very annoying boss fight, but if you do the strategy that we use, you will be good to go. So I will leave the rest of the gameplay to show you how we finished it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys later.